If you receive Social Security, SSI, SNAP, or Medicaid, I need you to hear this before March is over. Because right now, thousands of people on fixed incomes are unknowingly making a mistake that could reduce their benefits, or in some cases cut them off entirely. And the worst part, most of them won't find out until the letter arrives. We're talking about changes that could affect anywhere from a few $100s a month to over $1,400 in SSI payments. Now I know what you might be thinking. Quan despair, hi ferent hovi. Hi thinking of twice friend of a trying to scare me. You've probably seen a lot of content online that promises big things and delivers nothing. This isn't that. What I want to do today is walk through something very real, very specific to March 2025, and make sure you and your family have the information you need to stay protected. Let's do this together. First, let me tell you what's actually happening. Every year, the Social Security Administration and related federal agencies make adjustments. Some of those adjustments help people. Some of them, if you're not aware, can quietly work against you. In March specifically, there are a few things converging at the same time. 1. Cost of living adjustment payments from January are now fully in effect, which means some people's income on paper has gone up, even if it doesn't feel like much in your pocket. 2. Benefit review cycles for SSI recipients often fall in the first quarter of the year, meaning SSA may be looking at your income and resources right now. And 3. SNAP recertification deadlines for millions of households fall between January and April, and many people miss them without realizing what's at stake. Now here's where people get into trouble. They don't realize that even a small change, a gift from a family member, a little cash from selling something, or a new account that wasn't reported, can look like a resource or income change to the government, and that can trigger an overpayment notice, a benefit reduction, or worse. Let's break each of these down carefully. So let's start with the COLA increase, the cost of living adjustment. For 2025, Social Security benefits went up by 2.5%. For the average retired worker, that's roughly an extra $49 per month. For SSI recipients, the maximum federal payment is now $967 per month for individuals and $1,450 for couples. That sounds like good news. And it is. But there's a catch that almost nobody talks about. For people on SSI specifically, any increase in your monthly payment can affect how much you receive from other programs. SNAP, for example, uses your income to calculate your benefit amount. If SSA reports your income as higher, even by $49, your SNAP benefit could go down by $15 to $20 a month. It doesn't seem fair, but it's the way the system is designed. Here's the important part. You don't need to do anything to fix this, but you do need to know it's happening, so you're not caught off guard when your food benefit is slightly lower and you can't figure out why. If you're managing a very tight budget, and I know many of you are, that $15 or $20 matters, so plan for it now, rather than being surprised later. Next, and this one is critical, let's talk about the resource limit. If you're on SSI, there is a hard cap on how much money and certain assets you're allowed to have at any given time. Right now, that limit is $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a couple. That includes money in checking accounts, savings accounts, and certain other assets. Now here's where people get into serious trouble, especially in the first few months of the year. Tax refunds, holiday gifts, insurance payments, selling something online, settling a small legal matter. These all count as either income or resources, and if they push you over that $2,000 limit, even temporarily, SSA can reduce or suspend your SSI payment. Let me give you a real example. Imagine someone on SSI receives a $1,800 federal tax refund in February. At that moment, if they have $500 in their bank account, they now have $2,300 in resources. They are $300 over the limit. If that money is still in the account at the end of the month, SSA could count it as excess resources. Does that mean they lose their benefits forever? No, but it could mean a disruption and a confusing letter that takes weeks to sort out. So what do you do? First, know your balance. Check your bank account regularly, especially if you're expecting any payment. Second, understand what's excluded. Your primary home, one vehicle, and certain personal belongings do not count toward the resource limit. Able account funds, up to a certain amount, also don't count. We'll come back to that. Third, if you receive a lump sum, you may be able to spend it down within the same calendar month on allowable expenses. Things like rent, utilities, medical bills, clothing, or food, to bring yourself back under the limit legally. This is called a spend-down strategy, and it's completely legal when done correctly. Now let's talk about reporting, because this is where some of the most painful mistakes happen. If you're on SSI, you are required to report certain changes to Social Security. That includes changes in income, changes in living arrangements, changes in household size, and changes in resources. You are supposed to report these changes by the 10th of the month following the change. So if your nephew gave you $200 in February, SSA technically needs to know about that in March. If you moved in with a family member, they need to know. If you started receiving a small pension or annuity, they need to know. I know that sounds like a lot. And for many of you, this feels overwhelming or even frightening. But here's the truth. Not reporting is almost always worse than reporting. When SSA discovers an unreported change on their own through bank data, IRS records, or a review, they can issue an overpayment notice. That means they'll say you owe them money. Sometimes hundreds of dollars, sometimes more. And they will collect it, often by reducing your future benefit checks. Reporting proactively, on the other hand, lets you work with the system rather than against it. Here's what to have ready when you report. Your Social Security number, bank statements or documentation of the income or gift received, any letter, check stub, or written record explaining where the money came from, dates of when you received it. You can report changes by phone, in person at your local SSA office, or for some changes through your My Social Security online account. Here's the important part, and this one is genuinely good news. If you or someone in your household has a disability that began before age 26, there is a tool available called an ABLE account, short for Achieving a Better Life Experience. An ABLE account allows people with qualifying disabilities to save money without it counting against the SSI resource limit, up to $100,000 in the account without affecting SSI eligibility. That is a significant protection. It means you could save for emergencies, medical expenses, housing, transportation, or education without fear of accidentally going over the $2,000 resource cap. Each state runs its own ABLE program, and in most cases, you don't have to use your own state's program. You can often choose another state's plan if it has better features or lower fees. To open an ABLE account, you'll generally need proof of your disability diagnosis or a letter from a licensed physician, your Social Security number, a government-issued ID, an initial deposit, often as low as $25 to $50. If you've never heard of ABLE accounts before, I've included a link to the National ABLE Resource Center in the description below. It's a free resource, and it could genuinely change your financial stability. One more thing before we wrap up. And please don't skip this part. If you receive SNAP benefits, check your recertification date right now. SNAP benefits don't renew automatically. You have to reapply or recertify on a schedule set by your state. For many households, that deadline falls between now and April. If you miss your recertification window, your benefits stop, not slow down, stop, and getting them restarted can take 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes longer. To find your recertification date, check any letter you've received from your state's SNAP office, log into your state's benefits portal if you have one, or call your local Department of Social Services directly. Don't wait for a reminder that may not come. I know that was a lot of information, but I want you to walk away from this video feeling informed, not scared. Here's what I want you to remember. The COLA increase is mostly good news, but it may slightly affect other benefits. Know the resource limit, and watch your bank balance. Report changes on time. It protects you. Look into ABLE accounts if you or a family member qualify, and check your SNAP recertification date today. You are not alone in navigating this. These systems are complicated on purpose, and that's not your fault. But the more you understand, the better you can protect what's yours. If this video helped you, please leave a comment below and let me know. Even just writing "I watched" helps me understand who this information is reaching, and if you have a specific question about your situation, drop it in the comments. I read them, and I do my best to address common questions in future videos. I've also linked several free resources in the description, including the SSA official reporting page, the National ABL Account Resource Center, and a plain language guide to SSI rules. Take care of yourself. You've worked hard, and you deserve to keep every dollar you're entitled to. I'll see you in the next one.